I'm talking with Beth Eccles from Green Acres Farm in North Judson, Indiana, and your farm's been around for quite a long time, hasn't it?
It's a third generation family farm. My grandparents came from Japan in the early 1900s and eventually settled near where our farm is now in 1933, so the farm was established then. So.
That's fantastic, and it's not all that common anymore for farms to stay in families for so many generations, so many years.
It doesn't seem like it, although the small area where we're from, there are a number of farms, not necessarily vegetable farms, but more conventional farms that do that. But this is really nice. It's a nice story.
For sure. Now, how has the growing season been so far? I know it was a little chilly and rainy.
It was a little cold to start. Put us a little behind just getting into the fields and getting things planted, because you hate to take the little transplants out of their nice, safe environment where it's warm and perfect temperature, put them out when it's really cold. So we held off a little bit, but now everything's back on schedule. So maybe just a couple weeks behind on the early things, but everything else should be okay because it's on schedule in terms of when they go out into the field. Like, we didn't have anything like tomatoes or eggplants or peppers in the field. They're just going in this week. We don't want those kind of plants to be in the ground when there's a risk of frost or anything like that.
For sure.
That could kill them.
Oh, definitely. And what a contrast in the weather between today when it's almost like summer and last Saturday when it still felt like a little bit like March.
Very true.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the items that you have already. And the Food Day project is actually called this Onion Month. So let's talk a little bit about the early spring onions. Everybody's familiar with scallions, but these are reddish in color. Are these a different variety?
This actually, some of these might be. No, these are just early red spring onions. But this is a good example of what the cold spring did.
Yeah.
Because normally when we come out, there's a couple things. One is they'd be like 3 times the size of the bulb.
Okay.
And the stalks would probably be another foot long. So, and then we're just now getting them to the table. We really haven't hardly had any. They're just too small to bring. You're harvesting too many to make a bunch.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good example of what the weather did to the early crops. But the flavor is really good, and the whole onion is usable.
For sure.
The bulb and the green as well. So that makes it nice.
Yeah, and how would you recommend preparing these? I mean,
I use them fresh in salad. You could put the whole thing on the grill. I mean, it's pretty
stir fries.
Yeah, really.
Sure.
I mean, anything you like the onion flavor in.
Yeah.
Frittata.
Yeah, definitely. And now over here we have green garlic, which looks a lot like a spring onion. And if you didn't have the sign there, I'm sure people would just grab them and think they are. So what's the difference?
Well, this actually tastes like garlic.
Yeah.
So. This is a little immature for this time of year as well. By now it would normally be a little more developed, although we sell it as green garlic for a while. As long as the greens are still there, the scape hasn't started to shoot, which is its flower. When it does that, the bulb is actually forming, the cloves inside are forming, so that the stalks are really no more really not like right now. You could use this like a green onion.
Okay, yeah.
Where by then it would be too tough. You could use it for soup
for
stock
sure.
or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But but it's totally different from an onion because it has garlic flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're all in the allium family.
Correct.
Great. And let me ask you about one more thing. These nettles over here. And most people are familiar with nettles. They're walking through the woods and they get those little things stuck in them. But these are beautiful greens. Right.
We just started foraging these a few years ago. When one of the fellow farmer here was walking around our land, and she was like, "Beth, with the clientele that you service at the market, they would love nettles," and we really had no idea. And they've become a huge seller. Chefs, like to use them for soups and
for sure.
Pestos. But the health benefits are very, very high as well.
I see. It says high in iron and potassium, calcium. That's great. And so, do you now cultivate them, or are they still all foraged?
All foraged.
Wow.
Right. No, we don't cultivate them. It's funny. I have a number of things by the time it gets going that we that are wild that grow, like the lamb's quarter and purslane.
Yeah.
That we sell at the table here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Mix it in with the things that are all cultivated, and people just love it.
Absolutely. Foraging is becoming a big thing now.
For sure.
And so what can we expect in the coming weeks?
Well, we should have like baby chards and kales popping up. We'll have pea shoots. Eventually, the early spring peas. I'm sure this weekend we'll have arugula for the first cutting, and some of maybe our baby lettuce mixes as well. So that's I think probably for the next couple weeks that'll be about it. But a lot in terms of more variety, so for the customer. So that makes sense.
Great. Well, that's awesome. And then you grow like hundreds of varieties of
Quite a few varieties.
of produce. That's great. Well, I hope the weather holds up for you both in the field and here.
Well, thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, Beth.
All right.